Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to another video. If you clicked on the video, it's probably because of the title. Is there a way that Luigi Mangione could be found not guilty? And so, to save you some time, maybe, and the answer is jury nullification. So, once again, I'm just some random person on the internet. Take everything that you say with a grain of salt. I'm not telling you what to do or what to think. This is just a perspective. And also, this is from Google. So, do your own research, but here we go. So, jury nullification. So, jury nullification is when a jury in a criminal trial reaches a not guilty verdict, even though they believe in the defendant, even though they believe the defendant is guilty and the law requires a guilty verdict. Jurors may nullify a law for a number of reasons, including they believe the law is unjust, they believe the law is being applied unfairly in the case, they believe in the punishment for breaking the law is too harsh, they are sympathetic to the defendant, they want to send a message about a larger social issue. Juror nullification is not an official legal right, and judges may discourage it. However, once in the jury room, jurors are free to make their decisions without outside influences. Other terms for jury nullification include conscientious acquittal, juror veto, or jury pardon. So, yeah, that's about it. Now, from the time of this recording, I am not sure if a jury is already being selected. I believe at this point they have already made charges for him, for Mr. Maggione, and he is probably going to start being trialed here. He already got extradited here in the great city, New York City, great state of New York State. I guess the only comments that I can really make is how possible a jury nullification could be. When you think about it, it's when there's a jury, there's 12 jurors. But the thing with the criminal trial is that everyone needs to be in agreement. So even if one person is constantly saying not guilty, there can be a hung jury and it might even have to go to retrial. And I know for some people may think, well, that's unethical, it's immoral for a jury to do something like that. But from what I see on the internet and everything of everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people putting memes about how much, they support him and, he was the best guy around and what murder. This could be a potential way of actually legitimately helping the guy out. I'm not condoning about what he did. Honestly, I feel more I actually feel sad for the guy, for lack of better words. From what I've heard, he isolated himself for a while from his family, from his friends, and he apparently was getting a lot of inspiration from Ted Kaczynski, which was the Unabomber, and he himself lived in isolation as well. And what that shows is like how how potentially damaging it might be for one to be isolated, to be alone with their own thoughts for too long. Of course, enjoying your own company and being alone, that's not bad. But for an extended amount of time, it shows how, it could really damage someone. Us as human beings, we're social creatures. Even though, like, I myself, I consider myself an introvert. Like, I prefer being at home. Like, but at the same time, it's also, I'm aware that if I stay home for too long, it feels like quicksand almost. And for me personally, I deal with depression. So it's like that in itself, it's like it pulls me in to a point where it's like I have to like force myself to get out of the house, and get some sunlight and like interact with people. And the pandemic has showed that, being at home the whole day, you know, for an extended amount of time, it's not good for anyone. People are dealing with like kids in school being in Zoom, having problems interacting with people in person, and all these other things. It it really shows that social interaction and us speaking to one another, it's very important. The death of Brian Thompson, at the end of the day, that was a human life. Of course, he was a CEO for a health insurance company that it's apparently they he was during him being CEO, apparently like the whole company was they created like an AI that can automatically reject claims and everything like that. But the thing about it is that what I'm trying to get at is that Brian and Luigi, they're all human beings. And the thing is like, I don't think that Luigi was exactly pissed at Brian personally. It was the system. It was the insurance. It was the insurance company and how health insurance in of in itself is run. The system, as people like to say. And the thing that I guess really gets at me is that we always want to put ourselves in the position where it's us versus them, where it's like we want to point the finger and make a boogeyman out of it. Like, oh, it's the politicians. Oh, it's the secret society. But at the end of the day, it's like what makes the system? The system just didn't, pop out of nowhere. Like it was created by human beings, by us. For example, what's what's the political system in the United States for the federal government? At the end of the day, it's the executive, judicial, and legislative. And within those systems, the one common anomaly is that it's all human beings. It's all people. The president, the Senate, state state representatives, the Supreme Court judges, and just trickling it down. I'm not no shout out to Reagan, but trickling down all the way to governors, mayors, state senates, city council, and so on and so on. It's all human beings. It's all people. And so this whole thing of this system and creating a boogeyman, I think not only is it that we should be upset at, for example, as the systems that are in place that led to an injustice, that led to someone being put in a position where they believed that the only option that they had to send the message was to shoot a man in the back of the head. Like, in a way, yeah, like, finally, we got the attention. But why did it have to come to that point? And I'll tell you why. It's because of you, and it's because of me. Right now, what you're doing, right? If anyone is even watching this video, you're on your phone, you're on the laptop, you're on the computer, you're on YouTube. Probably when you're done watching this video, if you haven't clicked out, you're probably on your phone. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have all these things. When you're done off your computer, you're gonna probably turn on the TV and you're gonna watch some rom com, some reality TV show like Love Island or some other bull crap. And then for other people, once that's done and you're all alone, you're gonna probably open up your phone and do a bit of, and then go to sleep. Then you're gonna wake up again and do that all, and yeah, and just do that again and again and again and again. And it's like there's so much that like I want to say that's in my head, but it just feels like a funnel. And I feel like that not it's not just because like I'm shy or I'm quiet, but I feel like that's a byproduct of what we're doing to our minds right now, of just being on our phones. And of course, like right now, like saying that out loud is like, oh, like like I feel like an old man, but like bro, I am 27 years old, and it just feels like from the pandemic, like time just like snapped, and it's just going faster and faster, and the world is just going and going. And I feel like many of us are still like in the position where it's like we kind of like just plateaued, but we're just getting older. And I think it's time to, if it, for someone to say like, I'll say like, for lack of better words, like it's time to grow up. Look in the mirror, like start being like accountable for your own actions and stop trying to like point the blame at someone. And like I'm not throwing subs at Luigi or that whole situation. Like this is completely different. What I'm upset about is that why this happened in the first place is because there's a lack of accountability on our part to actually do shit and actually put pressure on people when they're doing wrong to us. Like at least like here, for example, in in New York City at least, this whole thing about like for example like mental health and mental health matters, and but it matters to who, you know. It always seems like mental health matters when it's convenient to people. For example, this whole thing with like teachers being treated like garbage, being forced to be in classrooms and being cursed out by students, and them quitting in droves. But then it's at the same time we have to pay attention to the mental health of the students. That oh, they're disturbed. What about the mental health of the teachers? For that student specifically, that is, for lack of better words, causing terror, and I know that might be a bit too dramatic, but you know, really that disruptive behavior. You know, what are the parents doing? And I know like there's definitely parents that it's like, you know, some kids are just born with like mental health issues, like, and they are trying their best. But there's definitely parents out there who frankly they have no business being parents. And the only reason that they are parents is because they made that baby. You want an example? Look at I even forgot her name. Like it like Blueface and that chick with like the missing tooth. She was on Instagram live and all this while pregnant, like drinking, smoking, and she gave birth. And look at that baby now. I feel so bad for that baby. And the thing is, it's like she is not the only one doing that crap. There is this cycle of poverty that's just going and going. That's been going on for a minute. People that I've grown up with, that I see that have just continued the loop, that they're not breaking the cycle. And I can't say for myself that I've broken the cycle. I'm just plateauing. I can fall off at any time and continue the cycle of poverty that I'm in. I guess I've been yapping for a while, but it's it's time to be like self accountable. It's time to look at yourself in the mirror. And frankly, you know why this happened? Like, frankly, us as a collective, as a country, it's our fault. We let it happen. We're all out here screaming, trying to find the boogeyman, while the line is being redrawn right in front of our faces. And it's been done for so long that we just think that that's just business as usual. For example, when you're for like my fellow New Yorkers, when we're riding on the train and we just see someone like blasting this like blasting their radios or their speakers, or some disturbed person just like screaming, how many times has like someone said something or commented? And of course I get it, like, you don't want to put yourself in danger or something like that. But that right there is the line being redrawn. And then it gets pushed a bit more and a bit more. And then people, I believe, that are, for lack of better words, in power, like our city council members and representatives and all that, they want to make careers out of their positions, and so they don't want to really do anything risky, because if it doesn't work out, then that's their next on the line. Like, I am getting really tired of this whole thing of people, this feeling of like people speaking for me, this whole thing of inaction being labeled as empathy and understanding. And I'm tired of just simply standing by and watching it, and just watching the news and being like, oh boy, I hope someone fixes it. No, you have to fix it. I have to fix it. We have to fix it. I could preach on all and on and on, but I think in general, maybe you get the gist of it. And frankly, I'm doing this video pretty much to like work on my like speaking skills also. So if everything is out there, like, I don't have a script, and I'm kind of like teaching myself to not speak with a script. And yeah, if you want to click out of it, this video, that was pretty much, I spoke my piece. And hopefully you leave a like or a comment, and maybe some tips also on like speaking or whatever. But yeah, I mean, thanks anyways. But yeah, I'm gonna go to something different. If you want to click out now, thanks for watching. Okay, so for the next thing that I'm gonna be talking about, or the next segment, it's pretty much like I set a challenge for myself that I want to finish reading the Bible by the end of 2025. And I know there's, potentially there's people who aren't Christians or people, yeah, it's like they don't want to be preached or anything like that, and I understand that. But I do feel like it's important for us as a collective and as a people to, I guess, to understand, I guess, like different perspectives. And I think prayer and meditation both are very similar in the benefits that one gets from doing one or the other. Um, and as someone who I consider myself a Christian, I never really read the Bible like for my own. It seems like it's just been spoon fed to me, broken into parts, and just served to me, or told by me by someone else, whether it was in church or in Catholic school. But yeah, and I think something cracked when I wasn't raised as a Catholic. I was raised in a different church. I used to be a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I left when I was 18. I was in middle school, and I went to Catholic school, and I found it really interesting learning about like the different perspectives of how people learned about Christ. And then it made me think, uh, other people's perspectives. I think like that was like the crack. And when I guess became with people who were Buddhists, in high school, I remember I had like a debate with someone who was Muslim, and it was just one of those things that it's like throughout all those differences, I feel like I think we all want the same thing. Like, we just want to be one, for lack of better words, be united. And I think that's just, that's a part of us being humans and being social creatures and all that. But for right now, I'm reading the Bible, and I guess I'll I'll conclude this video with where I'm up to. Right now I'm on Genesis 44, and for context, right now I'm reading the story of Joseph. Pretty much he was pretty much like his brothers sold him off as a slave. He ended up being really good at interpreting dreams, and so from that he became like a governor of Egypt. And now there's a famine, and the same brothers that that sold him off to slavery, like a whole bunch of years later, now they're coming back and asking for grains, because Joseph was able to prevent that famine from happening, at least in Egypt, because he interpreted in a dream. And yeah, that's pretty much like a very rushed summary of the story. Right now, they're they're having dinner, but they don't know his identity yet, but he knows theirs. As he commanded the steward of his house, saying, "Fill the men's sacks with food, as much as they can carry, and put every man's money in his sack's mouth. And put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his corn money." And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, "Up, follow after the men. And when thou dost overtake them, say unto them, Wherefore have ye rewarded evil for good? Is not this it in which my Lord drinketh, and whereby indeed he divineth? Ye have done evil in so doing." And he overtook them, and he spake unto them these same words. And when they said unto him, "Wherefore saith my Lord these words? God forbid that thy servants should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto thee out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of thy Lord's house silver or gold? With whomsoever of thy servants it be found, both let him die, and we also will be my Lord's bondsmen." And he said, "Now also let it be according unto your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless." And they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and he opened every man his sack. And he searched and began at the eldest and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And they rent their clothes and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Judah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there. And they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, "What deed is this that ye have done? Wot ye not that such a man as I can certainly divine?" And Judah said, "What shall we say unto my Lord? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? God hath found out the iniquity of thy servants. Behold, we are my Lord's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found." And he said, "God forbid that I should do so. But the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father." Then Judah came near unto him and said, "O my Lord, let thy servant, I pray thee, speak a word in my Lord's ears. And let not thine anger burn against thy servant, for thou art even as Pharaoh." My Lord asked his servants, saying, "Have ye a father or a brother?" And we said unto my Lord, "We have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one. And his brother is dead, and he alone is left of his mother, and his father loveth him. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Bring him down unto me, that I may set mine eyes upon him. And we said unto my Lord, The lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father, his father would die. And thou saidst unto thy servants, Except your youngest brother come down with you, ye shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto thy servant my father, we told him the words of my lord. And our father said, Go again, and buy us a little food. And we said, We cannot go down. If our youngest brother be with us, then we will go down. For we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And thy servant my father said unto us, Yea, know that my wife bare me 2 sons. And the one went out from me, and I said, Surely he is torn in pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take this also from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. Now therefore, when I come to thy servant my father, and the lad be not with us, seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life. And it shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servant shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. For thy servant become surety for the lad unto my father, saying, If I bring him not unto thee, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore, I pray thee, let thy servant abide instead of the lad, a bondsman to my lord, and let the lad go with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me? Lest peradventure I see the evil that shall come on my father. So yeah, it's yeah, I know there's other versions I could have read, that I could be reading, that maybe don't sound as confusing, for lack of better words. But the good thing is that there's this app that there's like a whole bunch of asterisks. So while reading the King James version, there's like certain words that I can click on the asterisk and it explains it a bit better. But pretty much they're arguing that don't let Benjamin be your slave since you found a cup in his sack. I think one of them is begging Joseph, let me be the slave while we bring our father to you. And yeah, I mean, I think that was about it. I was thinking of maybe reflecting on it, but frankly, that's just where I'm at right now. And well, now together, now I'm up to 45, and yeah, I'm gonna try to be more consistent with these type of videos. I'm try to see if I can post once a week, even though like all my previous videos I always say the same thing, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be more consistent. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, going on forward, it's probably gonna be mostly that. Um, uh, every Sunday I'm gonna be making these videos and reading where I'm up to, and maybe some commentary about what's on my mind. And yeah, so if anyone is still watching, thank you. Now this part is legitimately the end, and yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. So peace out.